There we are. Um, so all right, so this is the campaign page setup webinar for the Book Bazaar. We're all there. So just a little intro. I can get my computer to work. I am Belinda. Hey, how you doing? I've run a couple of crowdfunding projects. I think I'm in like this is number 8 or 9. I can't recall. And I've been around the traps for a bit. So I get to speak to you from a little bit of experience. Yay. Um, what we're going to cover today, we're going to go over the BackerKit crowdfunding backend. I'm assuming everyone has set up their accounts and had a look at the backend because you need to have done those things in order to be part of the Book Bazaar. Uh, so we're going to go through setting up your project, what to include in your story page, recording an intro video, setting up pledge levels, add-ons, and items, early bird and returning backer rewards, so setting those up as well. Gonna be a little bit of Q&A time at the end. If you've got a question, feel free to pop it in chat. I expect the session an hour and a half. We may go a little bit longer because there's a bit of stuff to cover. What we're not covering, we are not covering building a teaser page, deciding on your funding goal, pricing any of your pledge levels. We're not going to talk about actual stretch goals themselves. If you don't know what anyone not know what a stretch goal is, just like raise your arm or something, hand, thumbs up or something in the chat if you don't. Um, and we're not going to cover the engagement features, the pledge manager, or any of the post-campaign tasks. A lot of these things should be covered in the upcoming workshops in the Discord channel, or if they're not and you have a question, ask. So Michelle sort of knows what a stretch goal is. So a stretch goal is you have your basic funding goal. So the one I've set for my campaign is $1,500. And then for certain milestones, like funding milestones above that, you can release extras on top of the basic product that you're offering. So I'm offering a trilogy of books. So I might, at $1,500, yay, we funded, everyone's getting their books. And then if we hit $2,000, everyone gets a free short story, and so on and so forth. That's basically what a stretch goal is. Its basic function is to keep the funding excitement going, and to keep people pledging. Okie dokie. So setting up our campaign. Right. What was my next slide? Oh, yes. All right. We're going to go straight into out of this. And that's the Book Bazaar. Now, that when you log into your campaign, your backend, they have this lovely crowdfunding thing. I'm assuming everyone has gone here and had a look at this and started setting up their campaign. Okay. So you come in, you see all these lovely statistics and all that jazz. And so the first thing after you have entered your basic details is, am I going here first? You probably come here, set up all your campaign details. This is lovely orange text that we don't need until later. So when we set up a campaign, we set up basic details. I'm assuming everyone has their basic details. Stop me if you don't. Catchy title, a bit of a description. All of this text in here We need to stop. I don't know if you're thinking as with your author brains on or with your marketing brains on, but when we're doing all of this text, we need to be thinking with our marketing brains on, all right? We're no longer authors, we are publishers, we have a lovely product to sell, and we are spruiking our product. Okay. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. We'll put our image and our video up. So basically, I'm going to switch over to my last, the Booktopia campaign I did, which is why is that on YouTube? I don't know. Okay, go back here. No,
Everyone,
no,
I'm Crawford.
No, we don't want to look at that. That is my terrible video. Okay, so this is the campaign page for my Booktopia campaign from last year. And this is what your page should look like, mostly at the end. So when we're entering these details, we're entering a lovely product image, and a little bit of description, which is what did I do here? All right, or marketing stuff. You don't have to worry about your start or end date. They are already put in because you're part of the Book Bazaar. I'm going to skip the video bit because that's probably a bit too much for right this second. Put your image in. Your image is going to be that image right there. And additional options. We're going to put a pin in additional options for a second because that's probably a little bit too much. Analytics. If you know how to use Google Analytics, all the analytics things, you'll pop your details in that page. Right, so team, next section, team, and slow me down, guys. I need to slow down. You pretty much, unless you're working with other people, you don't need to worry about this section. I'm assuming Val's thing means you're cool. So if you're working with, I don't know any other really many issues where you would need to invite a team member. I'm assuming most of us are just working solo. So we're going to skip that part as well. Now the juicy bit, right? This is the story. The story page is all of this text. In this pad, it says story. It's all of this text in here, okay? And this is what we're going to go through and have a look at. Just scrolling through. So there's a bit of text in there. There's a lot of images. Crowdfunding platforms are visual mediums, even if our books are not, okay? You need to have images in there. They break up the text. Nobody really likes staring at a wall of text. And they just help communicate. Like for chronically lazy people like myself, we go, oh, what's happening? Oh, look, there's a image. And oh, look, there's a book. So it helps chronically lazy people like myself. And you can see here, we can create a new story section. Basically, that's how we create this little header here. That's the start of a story section. And then this is obviously the text of said story section. And so this is how we create one. So we're going to really quickly create one, just so you get the mechanics of it. And then we'll talk about what should go in a story. So this is, I haven't even started writing my story section for my campaign. This is Scrivener. I do most of my stuff in Scrivener. This is my basic text, and I will work on this as we go through. So let's
this is the first bit. Let's go with this bit. This is easy. Okay. Now this is from this text is from my last campaign, so I will be changing it before this thing goes live. And I'm choosing this section just because it's got an easy header, and it's got a picture in it. So basically, to set up a story section, yay, there's my header. This is my text, and because I've been using styles in Scrivener, it obviously hasn't put in extra lines for paragraphs. Headers in subheaders within your body text, really easy. Use your little TT heading thing. You can make them bold, you can make them unbold. I like them bold. And that is how you add text. Yay, awesome, easy. To add images. Now, images in, that's not what I wanted. Okay, I'll do that again. All right, to add an image into your text. So say I'm adding this lovely graphic for an early bird reward. You do not hit the link button. I always hit the link button. It is the wrong button. You hit this little lovely paperclip called attach files. And you go find your image. Where did I put that image? I don't know. We're just going to guess somewhere where I put an image. All right, mock-ups. There we go. Right. And now we have an image in our wall of text. Down here, it has this little lovely caption. So I can say hero rebellion, blah, blah, blah. One as an ebook, or some other lovely caption you might like. Now hold on to your socks because this is where it gets a little bit confusing. Okay, if you want to add alt text, you need to use these. You need to use that alt tag before and after. So the if you're familiar with HTML or CSS or HTML, you need to use those kind of HTML tags. Now the BackerKit does have a nice little section in their help how-to about how to do it. I don't remember exactly what it was, but you can always go find it. So there's an alt tag. So if you don't know what an alt tag is, it's basically if something goes wrong with your image and it doesn't display, we display the alt text, so the alternate text to the image. So we still know what that image should look like. And for people who visually impaired people who use screen readers, it also means that they get a description of what the image is there instead of some apparently insane kind of, yes, I can type that in that alt tag in the chat as well. So visual people who use screen readers don't get some gobbledygook when they do it. Now, alt tags are really good to use, not just for people if you can't see very well, but also for SEO. There is also, you can also put a URL using the same tag in there. Okay, there is no easy way to do this, guys. You've got to remember how to type these things. So I can just go HTTP. So if I want to make a link out of this image, pretty much. All right, so when someone clicks on it, it goes somewhere to my website in this case. I have to use the URL tag. And again, I'll put that in the chat for you so you know what it is. And so I've done that, which has pretty much obliterated any caption I might have wanted to pop on there. But I can use the caption tag. And I can say this is this is a caption. Ooh, look at that. Right. And now I'm going to actually select all of that and copy it, because sometimes the back end has a bit of a conniption and decides it's not going to save. Thank you, Val. Val's just popped the alt tags or the tags into the chat. Cool. All right. So we can go to, we've just added a new section. We can go to the Hero 10th anniversary, which I'll show you where you can find this as well in a second, but not right now. And I refresh it. And I have, oh, look at that. I have a new section with the caption. And if I click on the image, it should take me to my website. Yay. Okay, and then if can I do this? No, wait, let me do it. Okay. And then if something goes wrong with the image, it's also got the alt on there. So that is basically how you set up the sections on your story page. And you can see up here, each section has a handy little in-page link as well. All right. So I'm going to go back to story. And one thing that's really awesome about BackerKit and their story section that Kickstarter doesn't do is they let you reorder your story sections. Okay. So, whoops, hit the wrong one. So I've just reordered that without having to copy paste and move things around, which is fabulous. I love it. So that's how we do that. Now, I'm going to go back in here, back into edit the game. All of these other sections work pretty much, these other things work pretty much as you would expect. So, link, Amazon.com, link. Whoops, I got to put the HTTP in there. So now that's the link. Block quote. Okay. I don't actually think this is code. No, yeah. So that turns things into code. So if you need to add, for some reason, if you need to put a little bit of code in there, you can use that. If you want to add, let's say I didn't prepare one in advance. I'm going to go here. Sorry, guys, I'm just going to go here and no. If you wanted to add a YouTube video, let me just go find a random YouTube video. All right. And you're going to get to see all the questionable things that are on. Oh no, you're not. Oh, awesome. We don't get to see all the questionable things that are on my YouTube.
Imagine
channel.
being able to build an app that you're.
No. Hang on, I want to mute. All right. So if you want to add a YouTube video to your embed one in your story for a particular reason, you go find your YouTube video. So you have a YouTube video, you upload it to YouTube. We're not going to cover how to do that. I'm assuming you know how to do that. You grab this section. So you don't go down here to share or anything. I suppose you could. What's the share? No, you don't go down there to share. You grab this section after the V equals, and before the and symbol. You grab that section of the URL, because BackerKit does not natively support video uploads. Okay, so you find you have to use YouTube, and then you get the link, you paste it, and so long as your link is in this particular format, so
it's got YouTube/watch v equals. Okay. As long as in that format, it will give you this question: would you like to embed media? Okay. And I don't think you can put a caption on it. No, you can't put a caption on it. And you can embed a YouTube video. That can be handy. And then you just hit save. And then we can come back here and we can refresh the page, and it should have embedded our YouTube video. Okay. So we can all listen to deep focus study music while we peruse this page. So that's how you set up your different sections, all the big things you probably really need to know. If you decide, this little toggle here, if you decide that these section headers, which you can't format, that they're ugly and they're boring and you don't want to use them and you would much rather have, Valve says you can also use Vimo for the video embeds in the page. So if you decide you don't want these headers and you want to make your own, or you just don't want to have headers, that's cool. You can click this toggle. Okay. And it will hide the headers. So you don't get those headers. You can't do it on a one section per section basis. It's either on or it's off. You will notice that these menu items are still at the side. Okay. I like to leave them on. And I don't use graphics as headers, because a lot of people are going to be watching this or viewing these pages on their mobile devices. And it can be quite difficult, as you probably already know, to read small text in a graphic on your page. Okay. But it's totally up to you. A lot of people do use graphics in their headers, as their headers. All right. So why don't we have, I'm going to go back here if I can get the thing in the right spot. We're going to go back here and we're going to talk about what, yes, you're going to go to the next page. Okay. So we're going to talk about what you should have in your story. Okay, so before we get started, I touched on it a little before, you need to not have your author hat on, okay, or your creator hat, depending upon what you're creating for this particular thing. You need to have your publisher/marketing hat on, because you're not trying to tell someone what your story is, although you're not. You are trying to tell them why your story is awesome and why they desperately need it. Okay, and so that is your marketing hat, which, if you haven't done it before, hasn't done that before, anyone who's new to the whole creator as marketer shebang, if you haven't done it before, it's a bit of a brain shift and it's difficult. You just need to pop your toe in the water and get started. So a couple of tips when you're writing your story. Don't be Oliver. Don't ask for more. Okay. You're not asking people for more. You're telling people, you're telling people that your product is awesome. You love it. You're confident in it. And these are the reasons they're going to like it. Okay. Which is basically what your story needs to be saying. You need to tell someone what your awesome thing is.
what makes it different. So what makes it, so I would, I'll go into the exacts of these. Yes, Michelle says marketing brain is definitely a hard shift. Okay. It takes a while. You get used to it. So your story should tell the backer what your thing is, what's different about it. So you can think either what's different about it, what makes my YA sci-fi trilogy different from other books. We've got psychic mutant animal companions, AIs, conspiracies, zero robots, a complete brat for a hero, which is probably not really much of a selling point, but this is what makes the book different. Okay. Or you can also go on why this particular product. So for mine, I'm giving them a 10th anniversary edition. And so this is obviously the 10th anniversary edition. It's like, it's different from the 3 other editions that have come before it. And it's going to have, it's in hardback. It's going to have a sexy dust jacket with like a hidden cover underneath. All these things make it different, not just necessarily from other books, but from the previous versions of my book, these books. And then you follow up again with why they're going to love it and why they desperately need it. Okay. You need to be very confident in your own product when you are writing this. Don't kind of say, oh, well, I think you'll like it. Just say you're going to love it. Okay. And then you need to tell them what it's going to cost, what will cost them, how they're going to get it. So that's basically shipping. And when they can expect to get it, if you haven't already, if you've got some kind of logistics that you need to cope with after the event, after the book bazaar. And then you also need to know, they also need to know who you are and why they should trust you. Okay, because they're giving you money before they're actually getting anything. So they need to have a little bit of trust. So when I'm doing, do I have, no, oh yes, but we're not going to do that. So when I'm doing my stories, okay, this is, like, I have done a few of these. So I have a template and I copy paste a lot of my template. So what I start with read a sample. I give them a link to a sample of what I'm offering. And I do make it, I don't always make it front and center because I do have it a couple of times in this text. But I put it up there. And then not everyone does this, but I like to start with the 3, trying to get 3 yeses out of people. So reasons why they're going to like this. So for gamer, this one, I did. So this is here, we can see it right here. Read the first 2 chapters. And then I said, do you like action? Do you like intrigue? What about revenge served cold? And if people answer yes to all of those, and I say, well, then this book is for you. So that helps filter out the people who want a, I don't know, slow burn cozy mystery. Yes, Val, I can totally share the template I use, and I had totally stole it from Russell Nolte. If you look up Russell Nolte, he's big in the Kickstarter space, and he has done a lot of this as well. So that's how I start, and then this here, that's my blurb. Makes it real easy. Okay. So I'm saying read the first 2 chapters, put my offer up front. Then this helps to filter out the people who want cozy mystery with dragons or something like that. And then they read more. And then they're once again invited to read the sample. Right. And my sample, you can choose to send them to a book funnel page to get a sample. I choose to send them to my website with a sample on there, because it is one less click they have to make. So if I go to a book funnel page, and I don't actually have a book funnel page I can see, but if you've done that before, you know there is like 3 or 4 clicks before you actually get the thing. And we want to reduce friction. We want as fewer clicks as possible. And then I go into, I'm going to switch up this particular thing. I don't actually put those specs second up in my page. So basically I'm just telling the people what gamer, what they can expect to get, in a bit of a cold maths kind of way. They're going to get a book, and then, don't give it to your 12-year-old, or don't give it to your 8-year-old. The tropes, the genre, how they, pretty much how they're going to get it. Tell them the status of the book. So are they going to have to wait a year before they get it, or are they going to get it tomorrow? They're not going to get it tomorrow. Okay, very few people, because we got to wait for money to come through. So, but you get what I mean. And then I tell them, okay, well, you read the blurb, you got through the blurb, convinced me really why I should like this book. So I did what's different about gamers. This is my what's different section. And that's my what's different section. Also the graphics. So like I said before, I hope I said this before. If I haven't already, I'm saying it again. Crowdfunding platforms are visual mediums. You need to have lots of images to break up these walls of text. So, your covers, mock-ups, all great things. You should have covers and mock-ups so people can see. They're not just getting some nebulous idea that, but it's a book. And these kind of, trope, you see this a lot on Facebook, on selling things, ads, all the tropes. And now this section, you will be adding one of these sections in your own, not just yet, don't worry about it just yet. But this is basically the cross collab that we're going to be doing as part of the Book Bazaar. So you're going to tell people what other awesome things they're going to get if they back your project and your partner's project. Okay, and for the book, for Booktopia, we did oracle cards. Okay, and I just spruiked my partner's thing and my own thing before I got more into what my story was about. So if we're going into, we want to know a little bit more about the world the story's in, why people should care. So I say, who is Vlad, the main character? I'm telling this so that they care more about the book. If they've got to this stage of the page, they're probably invested. You're just trying to get them more invested in your project. And I tell them a little bit about me, yay, who I am. And then I tell them things they can get. So these are what BackerKit calls incentives. And they're basically early bird rewards. So if someone backs within the first 48 hours, they can get a special freebie. And if they're a returning backer, so if you've run a Kickstarter before, I'm assuming you haven't run the BackerKit campaign before, since most of you are new to this, they can get a different reward. Okay, I offer ebooks because ebooks that are already done, because ebooks are cheap and easy. And then, I like to add what pledge should I choose. It gives me a chance to talk about what kind of rewards I'm offering. And anyone who's going, I don't know if I should just get the ebook or if I should get the paperback or if I should get the paperback with the extras, it just kind of helps them out. You know, it's pretty simple. Dot points are your friend. The shipping section is very important, okay, because you're going to be charging shipping post-campaign through Pledge Manager. And if you've backed anything, you want to know what the shipping costs. So have the shipping in there. There is no native support for tables in the story section. You can choose to use a list if you feel like it, or make yourself a table. I used a spreadsheet and I made a screenshot. It was very technical. And so people know what they look likely going to pay. If you've got any other, things I was doing for this particular campaign, it was a special edition which was being printed in Australia. And I also had pledge levels with bundled books that were getting shipped from a pod printer, so Ingram Spark. So I put in these things because shipping from Australia is very expensive. And we don't need people to faint when they find out how much it's going to cost. And so this is all basically just what people are going to get. Add-ons and optional extras. If you don't know what an add-on is, it's when you back something and you find, oh, I would also like to have this other book that this person wrote. Oh, let's add that on to my pledge. So it's kind of like, it's an optional extra. Stretch goals, we touched on stretch goals, and you can list them here, or list them somewhere in your campaign. Tell people what they are, so it makes it easy for people to get excited about it. And this is where I like to list my other goodies. So this is my add-on section. I give them a brief overview of the things they can get. It's also handy marketing for your other books or other products, depending on what you have. And this was for Booktopia. We will probably have a similar section this year for the was it the back 10 projects in the bazaar and get the special binder thing, or whatever it's going to be. This will probably be a section for that. Amy last time, very lovely of her to supply the graphic, and to just let people, it's basically just marketing for that. And this is the Booktopia, what this whole Booktopia thing was about, which you're also going to have a section for in here, okay? And I'm going to show you, you don't have to write this is already pre-written. I'm going to show you in a second how you can just pop that straight into your story without having to do a damn thing. And we also did other projects to love, so just, spreading the joy with other creators in the same genre in that particular Booktopia project. Does all of that make sense? Do you want me to go through a different section in the story, or do you maybe want to come back to it a bit later and we can have like a voice kind of chat about it? Okay, cool, awesome. We're all pretty good. So the next thing to talk about is, I'm going to go back here and I'm going to talk about you. Oh no, no, I put a pin in that, didn't I? I'm going to actually show you how to add the Book Bazaar section in the collaboration part down here, okay? In the Book Bazaar. There you go, share information about this event. It's already there, it's already written. All you have to do is add this to my story, and it will automatically add this text block to your story. Okay, done, dusted. Easiest part of the whole process. All right, so we're going to go quickly back to this one and the video. All right. So when I think you can only use a YouTube video for this one, I'm not sure you can use Vimeo. But here you create a project video. This is my very embarrassing one. With the very bad audio. So people can't hear.
I'm Belinda Crawford.
Can I just mute that? Mute me? We don't need to hear me twice. So this is my intro video. You don't have to have one. All right, but you should have one. So there have been studies, whatever, done saying that projects with videos tend to, yeah, double blender. I know you're in trouble now. Studies with videos have the projects tend to do better. And now in this whole age of AI and generative AI, having a video proves that you're human. Okay. Particularly if it's a somewhat messy one like mine. They're pretty easy to make. They can be nerve-wracking the first couple of times you do them, but you get used to it. And to add one, we'll get you first, you record it, okay? And you record it, you upload it to YouTube. And then where is the share thing? You get the embed text, okay? Just so if you don't know how to get the embed text, you go to share, you hit the embed section, and then you just hit the copy down the bottom there. And you come back to your project, and in the project video, you paste the embed code that you just copied from YouTube. And then if I refresh this page, there's this lovely play button right here. And there it is. Okay, so that's pretty simple. What should be in your video? Very, very similar to your slideshow. Yes. Very, very similar to your story. Make it short. 90 seconds. People have very short attention spans. So 90 seconds, max length. Maybe, well, actually, I think strictly speaking, it's 2 minutes, but 90 seconds. Aim for 90 seconds. Just for your own, sanity as well. Most people will probably watch a couple of seconds and then go, yeah, or they'll get into it and they'll keep watching. Your video does not have to be perfect. Witness any of mine. None of they're all red hot mess. But your video should tell your backer who you are, what your thing is, why they're gonna love it, what's special, why this crowdfunding campaign is important, and then tell/invite them to pledge. And then you shove that into 90 seconds. Okay, so it's doable, and you don't have to spend a lot of time on it. When you're making a video, oh, come on, where's my mouse? There it is. When you're making a video, you need to keep it simple. I always write a simple script, and I could seriously dot points on scrap paper. So this is the size of my scrap paper, okay? And I might have 3 bits of scrap paper. You can record it on your phone. It's helpful if you have a tripod or some other kind of similar thing to hold your phone stationary. Make sure your area is well lit. So I'm recording right now. I'm recording mid-morning. I have a window up here. It doesn't have to be really, really complicated. But a window. I've got a light, a floor lamp over here. If I am recording in the, usually I record my videos in this kind of little corner. There's a couple extra lights that I put on. They're not special lights. And so yeah, so you're not in darkness. Don't be in darkness. The background is important. Okay, I use this corner over here because I've got a background set up here. You probably can't see it, but they're covers, mostly from my books. If you don't have something like that, bookshelf, bookcase, you can just sit in front of your bookcase. Try to make sure your video is, a nice kind of, this kind of upper, bust shot is a good one to use. And it means, even if you only have a small space, you can cut out a lot of the extra stuff. Put the pets outside. My dog is currently scratching at the back door, demanding to be let back in. Put them outside. Otherwise, she'd be right here demanding my attention because I'm talking to someone and it's not her. Then you edit your video. I use UCut, which is a mobile app. If you don't have anything fancy, UCut is simple to use. It's pretty cheap. For me, it's $15 Australian for a year's subscription, which I think is a bargain. It has you can put lots of effects in there, and it also, which I think is the best thing ever and totally worth the $15, it also puts subtitles automatically, and the subtitles are good. It's not the really bad ones. And then you upload it to YouTube and you do the whole embed, copy paste thing. I try to record my videos in one or two takes, because I find the more takes I take, the worse it gets. So just make it messy if you have to. And if you really can't do it, then don't worry about it. A video is not going to make or break your campaign. Alrighty, so we've already gone through this. All right, we're going to touch on images. All right, so we went and saw in mine that, oh no, it's the wrong button. That I'm going to use this one. I had a lot of images in here. Okay, so we've got obviously my cover stuff. But then I've got these images, which I call flavor images. Okay, so these are all stock images. They do not represent anything other than a feel for my book, what people can expect. So use stock images. And 1 second, guys, I have to go let this dog in before she drives out the wall. I'll be back in a second. Okay, sorry. And Val saying VSDE is free and pretty good for video editing. Yes, you can probably also, if you're on a Mac, you can probably also use iMovie. And there are a few others out there as well. So back to images, flavor images, stock imagery. You can find, I'm going to come back here because I got some, the wrong section. No, right there. You can find stock images on paid stock image websites, deposit photos. If you're not already aware, too late for this particular, for the Book Bazaar, but every Black Friday they do a 100 credits for $49. I think that's Australian, so I think it's like $39 US or something. Look it up. Which don't expire, so you can have access to their deposit photos, library of stock images, that you can use for things like this, book covers, rather marketing. There are free stock image websites, Pixabay, Upsplash, Pexels, that you can go and you can find free images. Creative Commons, another good spot. Again, free images on Creative Commons that you can use. When you are using something like Creative Commons, do make sure that you have the correct Creative Commons license. Just make sure that they're not saying, you can't use this for marketing or something. I don't know why they would say that, but just make sure. Do not use generative AI. Okay, so the Book Bazaar is a 100% human-made event. You're going to get in trouble if you use generative AI. Don't do it. If you happen to get a stock image and it turns out it was an AI generated stock image, I think that's a little bit different. Just be aware. Now, if full disclosure, I do have a background in graphic design, so a lot of the images you saw, I actually did some fooling around with, but you don't have to do that. Okay. So yeah, you can just use Canva. Is really good if you're not a graphics person, and you don't want to pay an arm and a leg to get a graphics person to do it for you, which I highly recommend not getting a graphics person to do it for you, because we do charge an arm and a leg. Then Canva is a really good online resource for, manipulating images to the right size, so you can use them for headers or for flavor images or for whatever you need to do. 3D mock-ups of your book are great, because people like to know more than just the flat image of the cover. They want to see it in a book. They want to maybe be able to imagine holding that book in their hands, or their ebook in their hands. So you can use images for your mock-ups, but 3D mock-ups. So like you saw on the gamer page, I had lots of 3D mock-ups. Images for your awards. So if we go, hit the right button, Belinda. If we come into pledge levels, which we'll get to in a little bit. So all my pledge levels have images on them. Okay, you don't have to have images, but it does make it a little more attractive. You get to know exactly what the thing is. I'm going to go back here. I've already talked about flavor images. These are not exact depictions of scenes or characters, but it's suggestions for the tones and tropes within the story. I think that was the last bit on those. So that's how we use images. Okay. And now I'm going to hit up. I've already started actually putting these in. Pledge levels. So these are these sections. When someone goes, we can't get it now because obviously this thing is over, but I want to get this particular item. I'm going to back this. I'm going to get this particular item. All this text is set up in the pledge levels section. Okay. And you basically, to make a new one, you hit create a new pledge level. And we're going to pretend like I haven't. So me being me, I already have all of these, descriptions done for myself. I do recommend having your all your storing descriptions already done. Whoops, this is $23. So you put a title in, you put a price in. A short description is, did I do it properly in this one? Probably not. No, I didn't. Let's have a look at what it says here because I've already done it over here. Yep. So this is the title right there. This is the short description. It's just there. There's the short description, really, before you hit the learn more button, which gives you more marketing copy, tells you what's in there. I'm going to switch over to Gamer because it's got more information. So this is going to tell you all the information you potentially need to know about this particular level, including what's in the level. Actually, BackerKit does have a section where you can add that, and I'll show you that in a second. I recommend, because people are stupid, is to put another thing in there about postage not being included in the cost of the level. With the new EU thing, I haven't got that in there because I don't need to do any of that. I'm going to highlight this. So if you're shipping anything into the EU, you need to be aware that there are new import restrictions being placed on items going into the European Union. There are ways around it. Okay. I'm not going to go into that right now. But if you have a physical product that needs to be shipped into the European Union, you need to put some kind of disclaimer on your product description in here. So around where the shipping is. So if I go, actually, let me just ignore that one. And I'm going to go here and go edit. You can see I already got the title, got the price, I've got the short description. And then I have a longer description. And you would put it in there. So people, when they go to have a look, more information, they get it. You put it in more than one location, because so people can't go, oh, but I didn't notice. Put it in more than one location. I have not got it in this section. I also will have it in my story section. It's already in there because I have, so yep, there we go. I'll also be putting the shipping notice in there. Put things like shipping restrictions in multiple locations. So people can't whine that they didn't know about it before they pledged. There'll probably still be people who whine, but at least it was in multiple locations. So ledge levels, that's what we do. No, that doesn't have to go in there. Now, when you are, so you build this, this is how you pop an image in there. This is not the right image, but we don't care for this particular point in time. Pop it in there. BackerKit likes square images. Okay. For their pledge level items, if you don't have a square image, this is a square image. It's probably going to crop something in unfortunate ways and look ugly. They also support PNGs with transparent backgrounds, which are a good thing to use if you have a transparent background on your thing. And included items. Now I haven't actually set this up. This my included items up yet, so we'll do that in a second. But this is where you get, so where it has this up here. This includes 6 items, and that's how you get this you actually put things in the included. You use this and it'll have a list of all your items, which we can set up here, that you can select to add to that particular pledge level. If an exclusive limited reward, you can set it there, and that means you can't sell more than 20 of those. These buttons, featured pledge level, I'm going to go over here because it's done it. If you click that, you get these funky little tags, okay, to highlight the things. And this is an example of one pledge level that was limited. I had 2 of them, and now they're done. Okay. So hide this pledge level. If you want to make a super exclusive item that people can only access if they have the right link, click that button. All right. People will need a link that you provide in order to access that pledge. And a lot of us, in these kinds of events, we use them for creator-only pledge levels. So can I get into can I actually get into here? That might be a little bit easier to show you. It does not. Oh, there it is. Ha! Pledge levels. So this is from Gamer. It's got all the stuff in there. A secret creator tier. Okay. So we had creators, so other people participating in Booktopia, who had this link and they wanted to get the book, but they didn't want to get the really expensive version of the book. Or for this, I actually cut the cost of the book down to not quite cost price, but to make it quite cheap for other creators. And that's what we did there. Okay. And I click the hide pledge level. And we want to click that button. So only someone with this link up here can find this and pledge for it. So if you want to do that, I will be doing that. I actually have a couple. Where is my thing? I actually have a couple that I am doing like that already. So yeah. And digital only, if this particular tier is just an ebook tier, they're not getting shipped anything, you can click that. And that just, hides the ship, like it says in the box, hides the shipping stuff at checkout. If you do have items that you do not want to send to somewhere, put them in here. So if you're not sending things to, oh, look, Antarctica. If you're not sending things to the EU, you can put your EU countries. Yeah, so France. No, France. Germany. You can exclude your EU countries in this section, or go find the country codes for EU, which might be a bit easier than trying to remember all the different countries in there. And then once you've done that, you hit your save button. And that's pretty much how you add all of those. The order in which items are going to show up on the go back, are going to show up on this particular pledge level tab are determined here. So you can move things around. You can hit the magic sort button, which is a BackerKit thing, and they will just pretty much sort by your most expensive item. BackerKit's theory is that's how BackerKit recommends that how you sort them, saying that the most expensive item, bring attention to it first, and then people will filter through to what they really want. So the expensive or limited edition items going in up the top, and then the cheaper items down the bottom. So you can see these are my creator tiers, my secret creator tiers down the bottom. All right, so add-ons. I haven't created any yet because I've got a few. Exactly like let me go. Oh, look at that. I've already got it in there. And are exactly like pledge levels pretty much. And you add them the same way. Let me just, so I'm just going to go through and shove this one in there. Okay, it's a square. I will put a description of my blurb. Okay, in there. And just like your pledge levels, you include what items are included. So an ebook in this case. You can feature it. You can hide it. Doesn't work like the hidden pledge level tier, like the creator level tiers. It just hides it so other people, like it says on the box, so that other people can't access it. And then you basically select these to determine which pledge levels are eligible to have these items added onto. Okay. If I was doing a paperback, I would uncheck the digital only levels. I think that is because people are just getting paperbacks and I don't want to have to deal with extra postage on top of all that stuff. But yeah, you can, but since this is an ebook, they can all have it. Yep. And you can do that. Now wait for it to save. And add-ons will, there you go, pop up in here. Okay. In the add-on section, which people can access after they select the pledge level. Items, been dancing around this one. I knew I should have done this one first. Basically, this is just where you start ebook, right? You create items. There is no purchase limit, but let's just pretend there were. I'm only going to sell 50 ebooks for this thing. I was like, yeah, right. And then you can then add these to in the items section of this. Okay. Oh, Call Between Stars ebook goes with the ebook, funnily enough. And the great thing about this section, which is, I think it's new this year, which is fabulous, is this ability to limit the number of edit. Come back and edit the Blender. Edit the purchase limit. So the number of units available. So if you have a limited edition, like you've only got 50 copies of your special book, you can pop that in there at the purchase limit. And before you had to kind of mentally calculate potentially how many different pledge levels you would be, you might sell and limit the pledge levels so you didn't end up overselling your special product. I hope that makes sense. But now you can just add the purchase limit in here and automatically calculates everything, and it's magic, and just love it. Use it if you need to. Don't think about it too much because it's already making my brain hurt. If there is an infinite number of items like this ebook, don't worry about it. Just leave it blank. Okay, does that make sense? Let me know in the comments if it does not. And all right, so you probably actually, before you set up pledge levels and add-ons, you probably want to set up items first, since you're going to have to add them to pledge levels and add-ons. So incentives, these are your early bird and returning backer rewards right here. So you can come in here and say, oh, they've got new types in here. Ooh. So they used to just have early bird and returning backup, and now they've got pre-launch followers. Ooh. And pre-launch reservation. That's pre-launch reservation is a new thing. It's in beta. We talked a little bit about it on the Discord. So if you want to know about that, check that out. And you can also learn more here. Look, the button over here. But your main ones are early birds, particularly if you haven't run a campaign yet. And I can say, if you're an early bird, this is not obviously going to be my incentive. And if you're an early bird, you can get if you back within 48 hours of the campaign start, you can get a special free ebook just because you're awesome and you rocked up and you back within the first 48 hours. These kinds of incentives are made to basically get momentum started and to encourage returning customers, so returning backers. That's what they're made for. And so they're worth having, but don't overextend yourself. So don't promise people a whole new book if you haven't written it. Don't promise to send them something that's going to cost you money unless that cost is already baked in to your pledge levels, which there is going to be a webinar about pricing things. Look on the Discord for that. Right, and if some people aren't just eligible, some pledge levels aren't eligible, this is also new, then you can obviously exclude them from your thing. Okay, and then you hit the save button. Save. People don't actually see that on your story page, but it's important post-campaign so that the people who get who are eligible for early bird or returning backer or whatever rewards, we're just going to shove that in there because it's the only item on there, are tagged appropriately, and then so that you can deliver those rewards at the end of the campaign. So it's important to have up there. And yes, you can edit them as required, and delete them as required. Okay, done. Right, so FAQs are exactly what they sound like. So you basically, now I do put some FAQs in mine, and as you can see, I've already gotten them written. It's basically just if someone has a question, why is shipping so pricey? But it is because it's coming from Australia. You can, I don't know why I've got an asterisk at the end of that, but I have. You can shove that in here, okay? There is not a lot of formatting. As you can see, I've just, there's italics in here and stuff. Sorry, can I actually put an emoji in there? We can put emojis in there. There's not a lot of formatting in there. So format accordingly. Okay. And we can hit, there you go, why is shipping so pricey? So they will come down to the FAQ section. BackerKit has their own little default FAQ in there. So yeah, That's in there. If you haven't already, identity verification, go through, follow the steps. Hopefully you're not having any issues. If you are having issues, hit up crowdfunding at BackerKit.com. They are very helpful. You actually speak to real people. Yay. Okay. And they work 9 to 5. Whatever time zone they're in America, which is usually about 9 a.m. in Australia. So do that and then set up your payment. Okay. So payment setup, go through, follow the prompts to set up Stripe. Make sure that you configure this bit first. So your country and your currency, because that will tell Stripe. That's relevant up in here for Stripe. And if you don't do it properly the first time, it can stuff things up. Okay, take note of the fees that BackerKit charges so that you can integrate it into your pricing structure. Okay. So we have Stripe. That's just how people pay, usually. Pay over time. If you haven't used pay over time before, don't know what it is, it's pretty much like Afterpay or PayPal's Pay in 4. It's just a way that if you've got really expensive pledge levels and people don't want to drop $400 all at once, that they can split those payments so they can make the payment plan. They obviously tell you more about it over here, and you can find out more in the help section. You will be paying payment fees on each payment. So you know, so if you've got people are paying in 4 installments, I think it's 4 installments, then you're going to be paying 4 sets of fees. Be aware of that. You're not going to get all of your funds at once. So usually at the end of a campaign, what happens is the campaign ends, BackerKit waits, I think 7 days. I think it's 7 days, or I'm getting confused with Kickstarter, I don't know. But usually it's 7 days before they start charging credit cards. So your backers credit cards, and then it could be, I think they send payment to you 14, 21 days after the campaign ends. So that's usually what happens. If you're doing a pay over time thing, you're going to get those initial payments in bulk, but you're not going to get the rest of like the pay over time people, like people who are paying in installments, until they finish paying. Okay, so that's another thing to be aware of when you're thinking about if you have to order stuff, books, comics, whatever. If you have to pay for stuff, you've got a pay over time thing in there, be aware you're not going to get all of that money. Yeah, I think it doesn't give you any other options. So it's either on or it's off. In pay the balance in 4 monthly installments. Yeah, so you're not going to get all of that money until 4 months after the campaign ends. Okay. Anything else? Right, you set your campaign up. We'll pretend that I've finished setting up all my stuff. And you're ready to go live. Okay. Now, you come up to build your campaign. You get this lovely little orange stuff telling you all the things you haven't done yet that need to be addressed. Cool. And you come down here. Achievements are BackerKit's term for stretch goals. And they don't just have to be stretch goals, but I wasn't going to talk about the engagement section. We can do that a little bit later. If you guys want to go over it, let's just get started with the story first. So you've done all this, you don't have things screaming at you on this particular page. and you want to make it go live, you hit the request a review button. And you will see, well, look at all the green ticks. Yay! Obviously, it's not infallible because there are many things I haven't done yet. And it just, BackerKit is doing their due diligence to make sure that you're in the best shape you can in order to fund. And they tell you more about all this stuff. And I'm not going to hit that because I'm obviously not ready for review yet. But you hit the request a review button and it usually comes up with a whole error list of things that you haven't done yet. Okay. And so you address those things in the, let's see if it actually goes through. Oops. It did go through. That wasn't what I intended to do. I'm going to have to email them and sort of say, "Oops, sorry." Cool. Usually it used to come up with a whole list of a whole list of stuff. Good thing they're like on weekend at the moment, so I can take my time emailing them. Right. You used to come up with a whole list of things you hadn't done yet, but I guess that's in the build your campaign section. Yeah. Okay, cool. And then you wait until an actual person goes through your campaign and says, yes, that's good to go. Or in my case, no. All right. So that's what you do. That's how you do it. Now, anyone got any questions? Should we put voice back on and you can just, oh, you can unmute yourself. Yay. Any questions? Anything you want me to go over in more detail? Anything I didn't cover?
I think it's
There we
pretty
go.
self-explanatory or explanatory. It's pretty, after getting a simple explanation or pretty in-depth one actually, it's I think pretty, yeah, good.
I feel like we're going to hit tomorrow. We're going to be like, oh, wow, that would have been a really good thing to know. But this was really in depth. So I really appreciate this. And it has a lot of stuff to, even though it would have been, you can just read, and a lot of stuff was like, okay, yeah, it's just there, but it was nice to just get it all right in front of you.
Yeah.
I did. So yours is a relatively like large. I saw your expected was $80 per, and I know we're not doing pricing. But
Yeah, mine is $80 because I've got hardbacks.
yeah, it's a special edition. It should be expensive. It's just interesting how much fewer. So and there's something stewing about, do you expect to go that much over, or is it just, this is a small thing for you and you're just gonna nail it, or is that?
So 1,500 is my minimum viable. So
Right.
without going into all of the spreadsheets, $1,500 is what I need in order to cover all of my setup costs. So ordering swag, and I think it's mostly it's a lot of swag, and my spreadsheets also include provisions for tax,
Okay,
which throws everything out. So and provisions for tax, but also provisions for print costs, because obviously when you're printing a book, you've got to pay for the printing of that book, and that's got to come out of the costs. So spreadsheets, yay, they're really, really good things. Yeah, hopefully William should cover that in his.
Mm-hmm.
in your session. So make sure
Yeah,
to
sorry.
do that. Yeah, and you know, if I was doing a purely digital thing, I would put my funding goal to $400, like as low as you can go while still covering your costs. So that it funds. And remember, mine is in Australian dollars, so
Mhm.
just like
I'm
double it.
Canadian, so it's pretty similar.
It's pretty similar. All right. Um, yeah, yeah. The books aren't cheap. Cool.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I was going to ask, so you have a big backlog, so it's relatively easy for you to say, "Hey, I'm going to give you one of my older books. Here's a little bonus. So this is my first one. I have quite a few short stories sitting out there. I'm planning on getting a little bit of merch, like a postcard or basically just commissioning one or two pieces of art besides the cover, and those are going to be things to either make physical merch out of or just sell a little wallpaper or say, hey, you get the HD wallpaper as a bonus. But in terms of intangible rewards, if you don't have something like an ebook, have you offered something like that? Would it be getting it early? What?
Okay, I have done all of the above. So for Gamer, one thing I did do is everyone got the book, apart from all that stuff. Everyone got the book a couple of months before the retail release. Okay, so
Oh,
that's a really good way to do it. So I had the book there waiting, it was ready to go. Booktopia was October, and I didn't redo a retail release until January. That's one way to do it. If you do have short stories, particularly if they're connected to whatever story you've got on the campaign, the short story can be, like, it doesn't matter if it's already been published elsewhere. A short story
mhm.
can be the thing. For Hero, what am I doing? Early bird backer reward for Hero? I can't remember now. What was it? I don't think I've even put in my story yet, so I am so behind. What was it? I don't know. I was doing something. Um, uh, I think I'm doing a no. I can't remember what I'm doing. It's going to be a digital thing. It's going to be a short story. Or oh no, now I remember what I'm doing. Okay, so it's going to be a physical thing, and because I'm doing basically a box set instead of for the physical thing, instead of racking my brains trying to get an actual box for my box set, I am doing a belly band and a sticker.
Okay, yeah.
And so those costs are baked into my tier level already, but I'm giving it them as a freebie. Okay. When you as an early bird, if you're an early bird, you get the thing free. And otherwise, you can have it as an optional extra that you pay more for. So that's one thing I'm doing. I'm actually also doing some other elements, alternative reality game elements within my campaign. So there'll be some of those in there as well as digital rewards.
Very cool.
Yeah, so digital, the way to go. I think one thing I did for, was it this one? Yes, for I Am Maggie. So this was my last campaign. I actually did a fragment from the Cardinal Codex, which is pretty much just supplementary material from a story, and it's about 1,500 words as an ebook.
Okay.
And honestly, if you're doing, most people just, some people go, oh, yes, but I've found most people really don't care. So
Okay.
it is a tip them over the edge, but what they really want is the main thing, right? The thing that they're buying.
hmm
Just a nice little extra. So don't rack your brains. All right, you don't have to really dig that deep to do your incentives. Even if you do like a $5 credit, I actually have done. There we go. Back within the first 48 hours and get a $5 credit to use towards add-ons in the post campaign.
Oh yeah, okay.
So you can set it up in the pledge manager. You can either give people a credit, which they can then apply to everything, including shipping, which I don't recommend, or you give them like a coupon code. And
Okay,
I've done that the last couple of campaigns, and most people don't use it. Like I say, you get this, and then I email them a couple of times saying, you've got this. Most of them don't use it. So it's like, yeah, those are good ones.
Yeah, no, if most people don't use it, it's free money.
It's just like, yeah. Well,
No,
yeah,
I get it though.
Yeah, these things are not. They're purely what do you call it? Marketing, getting people to across the line, and to build momentum. Build customer for the returning rewards. It's customer loyalty. And my last couple of campaigns, 50% of my backers, I think it was 50%. Why don't we actually go in and have a look? Were returning backers. So what does it say? Yeah, manage my project. Because it tells this is a lovely new thing now, this dashboard. It didn't have this before. Or no, that was gamer. No, that was pledge, existing audience. Doesn't actually tell you. New audience. There we go. Existing. So no, it wasn't. It was under half. But that was for gamer. And then for Maggie, I think it was half. Maggie was a much smaller campaign. So for Maggie, there we go. It was primarily an existing audience. I've got very few new people. Where?
Interesting.
Yeah, there we go. So that's what you'll find with the Book Bazaar. You'll get a lot of new people in there. And with other campaigns, particularly on BackerKit, which doesn't have the same kind of organic search reach as Kickstarter, you're going to get more returning backers. So yeah, it's things that you learn as you sort this out. Alrighty. Yeah. Any other questions?
That's it for me right now.
Okay.
Cool. Same for me.
Excellent. Good. Well, I'm going to do a little plug. Sorry, guys. If you want to give me any feedback personally, because I run online courses every now and again, I always appreciate feedback. So it's belindacrawford.com/feedback if you would like to do that.
All right.
Otherwise, ask any questions in Discord. If we don't know the answer, highly unlikely, but if we don't know the answer, we'll figure it out. Awesome. Well, thanks guys for being here. Don't forget to check out the other webinars available coming up. And yeah, if you want one on a specific topic or something, just pop it in the chat and we'll see what we can do.